All right, I'm here at the Palm Beach International Boat Show at the Scout booth, checking out their brand new 670 LXS, making its debut here. Starting at the aft, much like we always do, this thing is decked out with quintuple Mercury 600s. Means the boat is good for, and this is fully loaded to the gills, all the equipment, all the people, what have you. 57 miles an hour with these things. Cruises no problem in the high 30s, even low 40s. So tons of power behind the boat. Something happens, you still got plenty of power to do plenty of stuff. Very good stuff. Another feature very hard to miss on the boat are going to be these gates that fold down from either side of the boat. The beam with them up is right around 16 feet, goes to 20 feet with the wings out on the sides. You can see already a very spacious aft cockpit area. A lot going on this boat. So we're gonna step on into it and start talking about it. We got this here, I can't miss it. A little shower here, of course, hot, cold water. And it has this carbon fiber rod there. That's too cool. They didn't have to, but they did, and I think it's awesome. Anywho, before we get too much into the cockpit space, I want to point this out up above here if the camera will play with me. So they got this cool shade system that comes out, but in that, the rocket launchers there will automatically come out and out of the way when you deploy that shade there on the rear, so you don't have to worry about ever having any issues there. And now getting down into the aft cockpit, got a lot going on here. Hiding underneath, we got ice makers, 500 plus pounds a day the ice makers can put out on this thing. What we're looking at here right now is this really cool little ladder deal boarding through there. So it can be folded up like you, or folded out rather like you saw it, or it stows away nicely like that. Couple things going on here, of course. You can and should use this boat for fishing, so you got all that going on back here. And then as you flip back around here, a lot going on, pretty cool. So you're gonna have your sink on that side of the galley space, and then on the other side, of course, is gonna be a grill. And when we look up above, you may have already seen it, but I just wanna point it out again. There's one of many Garmin large displays hanging out up there, so you can have that set to whatever you want while you're underway. You got the fish finder displayed, what have you there. Some things that aren't immediately obvious that I'd like to point out. Below there in the large hatch, that is going to be essentially the bilge, but there's access to some systems down there with your water and stuff, and that is also where the Seakeeper is kept. So this does have that gyroscopic stabilizer on board. And then hiding under here, try to do this one-handed, and sure enough we can. Not bad at all. That is just going to be access to the systems room. So we'll somewhere there, that'll stop there. So yeah, instead of an engine room, of course you're not going to have that. It's pretty noisy, so we're not going to go down in there. But you got stuff like your water maker down there, just electrical systems on the boat, generator, air conditioning, all that stuff is going to be going on down in that systems room there. And we're going to close this back up. Super easy one-handed operation, even with my left hand, my offhand, no problem whatsoever. So moving into, I guess I'm going to call it the mid cockpit, considering we were just in the aft cockpit. Going to have a lot of space for entertaining in here. 3 stools there for the bar, and then you could easily comfortably fit 4 people, probably squeeze 5 people in the back there. And then up above there, this one is not equipped with a fly bridge, but there is a ladder that folds out from there, much like an attic, and that would give you access up onto the roof. All right, so we're jumping around a little bit as we work around some folks on the boat, trying to stay out of their way. Before we do head forward, I do want to point out something here, if I could find it. There it is. You do get a remote docking station here standard on the starboard side, and you can get one as an option on the port side as well. So that's just really going to help with visibility when you're docking. As you can see, just crazy. Like, no excuses when you're docking right here next to the side of the boat. You can see everything you need to. So super cool stuff like that. And it looks like some folks moved out of the way, so I can finish talking about this area before we head forward. So that Window there obviously slides down in there electrically, and then you can close that door up as well and have that whole climate controlled space inside if that's what you choose to do and that's what the weather dictates. Otherwise, open that thing up and absolutely enjoy the space, how open it gets between the two spaces here in this main cockpit and the mid cockpit that I'm standing in now. But see, it looks like some folks are still up in the bow, so we'll head on in, I guess, at that case and show you around inside of here while we wait for them out there. So as we walk in here, we're greeted by a galley on the port side. A lot of stuff going on in this seemingly little space. So one thing that's cool, I'm not going to go through every nook and cranny, but the way they hold their silverwares and plates and cupware and all that, they got this foam in there. It's pretty stiff foam. It's kind of like a toolbox if you were to cut out the space for all your tools. Same idea there, keeps everything held in place nicely. And of course, soft closed drawers. And then I will make note of that. That is a refrigerator down in that drawer there. So we'll close that up and come around here. And let's see, so yeah, gonna have a little dining space there. That's good for comfortably 4 people around that space. And then if we flip around this way, let's see here. If I press that button there, maybe, there we go. There it comes. That's just gonna open that space back up on the back of the boat. If I don't know how to hold my finger apparently. There we go, I figured out how to use a button. Harder than it looks apparently. But anywho, flipping around this way, can't see it now, the windows are up, but that window there will go down and you can let air in through both sides of the boat. And if we flip around this way, I'm not gonna put it down, but there is a TV that would flip down from that panel there and do something like that, I suppose. So we're gonna flip back around, and the Helm is a treat on this thing. They worked with Garmin to come up with a really awesome system. We already saw the one back there. Yeah, that's not even the actual Helm. Those are just 2 massive Garmin screens there on the port side. And we flip over here, starboard side, 2 more equally large screens. So Garmin and Scout worked together. They came up with a custom graphic user interface. So you can control everything there, various zones of the boat, all sorts of stuff. For instance, we're in this upper salon area now. And if we do this, hold that button down, that window comes down in a hurry, and it goes back up in a hurry as well, right there from the screen. And up above us, right there, is going to be a sunroof that would open up as well if we chose to do that. But almost virtually everything is going to be controlled from the screens. There are some buttons for just a few systems there on the dash and like your engine management there as well. But otherwise, almost everything's on there. Of course, you're going to have stuff such as your joystick control, your regular throttles, just stuff like that hanging out there. But we're gonna move our way down here into the cabin and check it out before we head up on the bow. It looks like it's clear, so we'll head up there in just a few moments. So this area down here, they're calling it the media center, the media room, media space, what have you. So that's kind of like a rec room, if you will. Couch there. I'm not gonna try to do it with one hand, but that couch does lift up. And there's a ton of storage down there below that. There's another little Garmin screen there. Like I said, they work with Garmin, did a great job, just integrated a lot of stuff on the boat. But back on that side, you're gonna have a TV there in the entertainment center, of course. And then down below, one entertainment center without a refrigerator. So that's hanging out there. And going forward is gonna be the master cabin on this boat. So on the left side here is gonna be a shower. Right side there is gonna be the toilet compartment. So we'll take a peek at that before taking a closer look there. So there it is. You get a wand there as well as a rainfall shower head, and that's just super tall. At least got to be 6'7". Yeah, something like that in there. So even tall people, super tall people friendly. And then we'll take a quick peek on the starboard side. There's toilet, sink, all that good stuff on that side of the boat. So we'll close that door behind us and just take note of that. So there's going to be your V berth, if you will. Well, the light finishes definitely makes the place feel bigger and more welcoming. So that's pretty cool. Going to be a hanging locker there. and then just your light switches and HVAC controls on that panel. Couple options here. Let's go to the starboard side first. You go there. That is going to be 2 single berths. If you were running the boat with a crew, which you may on this size of boat, you could stick them in there. That could be their space, or you can stick 2 kids in there, kind of whatever your needs and wants are out of the boat, no doubt. And then over here, we have another couple set of doors. Left is going to be to the VIP cabin. So that's going to give you a proper double berth, about the size of a queen bed it looks like in there. And then to the right of that was a door to the head. So that offers ensuite access there to that VIP suite. And it's also going to act as your day head and the head for that other cabin we just checked out. Much like the shower up in the owner's stateroom, that is going to have a rainfall shower head as well. Really nicely appointed. Again, those light colors really just make it look good, make it look roomy, that kind of stuff. So we're going to close these doors up here, and we're going to find our way on up to the bow. So let's head up on this side deck here and head to the bow. And I should note, super high gunnel here, like waist high for me at 6'1". Nice grab handle, super secure I feel as I'm walking here. As soon as I get away from that, I'm going to be greeted by a grab handle up here on the left to keep that sturdy, comfortable feel. And this just caught my eye, so I wanted to point it out. That is going to be your cleat. Pops up. It looks super sleek when it's put away. Good deal there. Cool stuff. Of course, got some sound system there. The music right now is not coming from that sound system. Got a gentleman playing over there at the bar area. But as we walk up into this bow area, pretty cool space here. And we'll talk about it more in a second. So all your working area is going to be stored up front there in those lockers. In the middle is going to be access to the windlass and road, all that good stuff. And on either side is going to be fender storage. So you can see one of those cool looking cleats in action there. We're going to flip around here. And there is really cool seating, sun lounge area there. So comfortably probably fit about 8 people in the space here. A few people down below at the table, and then comfortably 3 people. Could get cozy with 4 up there at that upper sun lounge area. And you can see some light bars there on the top of the roof. You can see somewhat, yeah, there where that sunroof would open, your radar, FLIR, all that good stuff living out on top of the boat. But looks a little busy at the back right now, so I think I'm just gonna take a seat here in this bow area, and we'll call it a day there. So come back around and see how I can do this with the sun blinding me. All right, that was the brand new Scout 670 making its debut here at the Palm Beach Boat Show. Really cool boat, really blurring the lines between a yacht and a center console at this point. It is the largest power boat with outboard motors to date across the board, not just that Scout makes. So that's a pretty cool honor that they were able to hold with this really cool new boat. And I will say it is proudly made in South Carolina, where I'm from. So super cool to have a company like that in my state doing stuff like this. Good for them. But enough about me. If you want to learn more about this boat, I'll have some information down in the description to see how you can do that. Ask questions, get on out to a show to check one of these out. You really got to get out here, touch it, feel it, even smell it to really get a feel for the boat and see if this could be right for you. But in any case, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching.